Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Baldy.
I was just watching your breakdown of Amon-Ra versus Puka, and of course we're going to see Puka tonight. What jumps out at you? I mean, these guys are just great, but you pointed out in your video they're kind of the fourth down go-tos for both of their teams.
Yeah, both those guys on fourth down. Both teams had, it was a real shootout game. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but it was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
And Detroit had the lead early in that game, but they both were aggressive on fourth downs and both converted both fourth downs to really extend drives. And, it was Puka on one side. It was Amon-Ra St. Brown on the other, and that's where they went. And they just trust those guys are going to win the route and, give the quarterback a pretty good chance to complete the ball, and that's what they both did. So it was, Amon-Ra had, 15 catches on 18 attempts. And then Puka he didn't have as many attempts, but he had more yards. Like his ability, he's always open, number one, and then he's always good after the catch too.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a good shootout between those two.
Yeah, I saw Kyron Williams this week, and I'm not a real big believer in bulletin board material, but Kyron Williams said our offense can't be stopped. They're facing a different animal this week in the Seattle Seahawks.
And Devontae's probably not going to go.
What do you expect tonight?
Kyron's not wrong. I mean, they can score points. And the quarterback leads the league right now with 37 touchdown passes. I'm talking about Matt Stafford. Sometimes I believe that they can't be stopped. Like, it's just that good. And it's like they have 4 tight ends that dress every game. 4, right? Kobe Parkinson caught 2 touchdowns last week. And of the 37 touchdown passes, 12 have gone to the tight ends. Devontae has 14. And so they get inside the 5-yard line. It's either going to a tight end or Devontae. And without him tonight, it'll be interesting to see if they get down there, what they do, and how they, score the touchdowns versus kicking field goals, because that's how you lose these games. But this is for anybody, Washington included, guys. For anybody that wants to see how you construct a team in today's world, this game is a pretty good indicator of how good both these teams are on both sides of the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive line of the Rams last week completely shut down the Lions' run game, and how you do it and who you do it with. And then Seattle's been doing the same thing with their defensive line. And then both offensive lines have been bolstered this year and have some really good young star players that people don't really know about, but they're really good. And they give them a chance to protect the quarterback, run the ball, get after the quarterback, all those kind of things. It's pretty interesting to watch. That's why they both have really nice records, and probably the winner of tonight's game is the leader in the clubhouse to win the NFC West.
Oh, yeah. I think the Rams win. They have a 93% chance because they would have swept Seattle. And I think if Seattle wins, I think the number is only about 50%. So this is a huge game.
They beat Seattle 21-19 in Week 11.
Right.
And what was amazing about that game is Sam threw 4 interceptions that day.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he threw 4 interceptions, they still only lost by 2 points and still had a chance to win at the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be a lower scoring game. Obviously with Devontae out, that hurts the Rams. All right, so Rams Seahawks tonight. Saturday got a couple games.
Yep.
Both are pretty big, certainly not for the Commanders because they've been eliminated. But if the Eagles win, they clinch the division. This is a big game for the Eagles. Your thoughts, first of all, your thoughts on Washington deciding to shut down Jaden Daniels, and then talk about the game in general.
All right. Well, if the Eagles win Saturday, they clinch the division, and they win the division back-to-back years for the first time
right.
in the NFC East. First time somebody's won the division back-to-back years in over 20 years,
it's crazy. Which
is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I don't agree with shutting down Jaden Daniels. I know he was the offensive rookie of the year last year. I know he's an amazing talent, but players have to play. It's the only way you get better. And unless there's a real chance of further injury, I guess it's the elbow, right? Like
the left elbow, the non-throwing elbow.
Because I know there's a bunch of injuries this year, but I think it's the elbow that he re-injured, and that's what pulled him out of the game. So, unless there's real further chance of further injury or more, then I would play him.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's a factor. But all players get hurt. All players recover. And so, like Jackson Dart, they were asking the same question up in New York because he's been in and out of games. He's had some concussions, but he's got to play. I think I just believe guys got to play.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about that when you start looking over the body of work of a period of time. That, like early in Matt Stafford's career, like he got hurt, he missed a lot of games early on, the first like maybe 3 years. And then since then, he's been almost unbelievably healthy. But sometimes you just got to play through these things and learn how to play, how to protect yourself better. Like I'm a huge fan of Jaden. We all are. But I feel like he's almost too aggressive running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to change your way so that these injuries don't happen. And you can't legislate against injuries, but you have to learn how to play either through them or how to protect yourself better, especially at that position.
Yeah.
Joined by Odyssey NFL insider Brian Baldinger. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. One thing that we've kind of kicked around is whether the offense had changed a little bit, right? They are in shotgun more than every team in the NFL except for one. You look at what's going on in Chicago, and we'll get to that game, the Bears-Packers game. You see Caleb under center, and he had never done that in college. Handful of snaps, didn't do it in high school. Didn't do it last year under center, and you've seen him a lot more successful. I saw some statistics of this past week in the Philadelphia game against the Raiders, and under center, Jalen Hurts was more successful than out of the shotgun. What's your kind of analysis of it? The counter would be, there's one guy on our show who counters it, well, Jaden was in shotgun all last year, and the offense was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and it was, but I mean, that's Cliff, too. That's Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, he had Mahomes, in shotgun, all these, all the guys he coached. Johnny Manziel was in shotgun. He coached him at Texas A&M. And you're in shotgun, you can see the blitz from the blind side a lot better than if you're under center. You got to pull away from center so teams attack. If you're right-handed, you pull away from the right side. More frequently. Anyways, you can see things a little bit better. But I'm with you. Jalen Hurts, I've talked to his offense coordinator, Kevin Petullo, about it. It's not that he fought being under center. It's just that he was always in shotgun, like Jaden. He was at Oklahoma, at Alabama, to start his career in Philadelphia. He was a shotgun quarterback. But what happened is the defense is changing things, and they're sitting back in these shell defenses, and they're not allowing the ball to go deep down the field for chunk plays. And if you get under center and you start running the ball from that, and Saquon or Bill Dollar Bill there in Washington, or whoever it is, McNichols, whoever's the running back, if you put them 8 yards deep and you truly pull away from the center, from Biotish, and you hand it off, all right, you got to respect that as the defense. And then when you show it that you're handing off, and then you play action pass off, it allows the receivers to get further down the field. But when you get set up and you're typically 9 or 10 yards deep, and then you can kind of look down the field for some chunk plays. And while you can still do that in shotgun, it's not the way the NFL is going right now. They're going. Bradford is under center, and Stafford's under center, and Caleb's under center. And you look at all these offenses that are getting these big chunk plays, that's where they're at. Even Mahomes and they weren't very good this year, but even Mahomes was doing that a bunch. And so I think that's the trend right now. Dak Prescott in Dallas is doing it. And so I feel like you have to eventually do that in this business right now, get under center.
All right, so with this second game on Saturday, Packers-Bears, how much I think it's a huge injury. How much of that Micah Parsons ACL?
Micah?
How much is that going to affect Green Bay?
Well, it's going to affect him a lot.
Yeah, it's big.
There's nobody else that pressures a quarterback like Micah. I mean, you can look at the stats and it says that, but you just have to watch the games.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was, he was chasing Bo Nix all over the yard. They had the lead when Micah got hurt. And the way that they used him, they put him in so many different areas. Like if you leave him one-on-one, he's going to beat any tackle in this league outside of maybe Lane Johnson, a couple of elite guys. You have to chip them. You have to account for them. You have to send extra bodies at them, which is fewer guys that you can throw the ball to. And then when he lines up in the middle of the field and he really has freedom to go wherever he wants to go, no guard or center wants to see it. They don't have that right now. And nobody else is even close to him in Green Bay of pressuring a quarterback. He made, and the guys that were getting sacks, whether it was Rashawn Gary, whoever it might be, Lucas Van Ness, whoever's getting the sacks, I mean, it was Micah that was kind of steering the quarterback to him. Without him, they're not going to have the same amount of pressure. And so I don't think the defense, which was very good, I don't think the defense is going to be as good without him.
So there's a bunch of good games on Sunday, but before we get to that,
huge games.
Let's rewind. What'd you think of that Patriots-Bills game?
Well, I mean, if the Bills go into Foxborough and they spot the Patriots 21 points.
Right.
And then they scored on 5 straight possessions, like literally touchdowns on 5 straight drives. And it wasn't just all Josh Allen, although it was a lot. I mean, James Cook had a big part of it. He ran for a couple touchdowns. He gashed them pretty good. They've been good against the run, but the Bills' offensive line got really healthy for the first time in a few weeks. They got all 5 starters in there, along with all 3 tight ends, and the tight ends are a big part of the offense. And once they made their charge, like it looked like the Patriots were helpless to stop them. And in the first 3 drives, they executed really well. And the running back Travion Henderson, he had 2 more touchdowns of over 50 yards. So that's the only time
Drake
they scored.
May is the lead blocker there for a while.
Yeah,
he was. That 65-yard touchdown run, he was down there sprinting, getting out in front of him. But, he's got 5 touchdown runs of 50 yards or more this year. The guy is just a complete definition of a home run hitter. But once Buffalo started getting their offense clicking, it didn't seem like, and as good as New England is on defense, and they're very good, they seemed helpless to stop them.
Yeah, that was a tough loss for them. And I think Drake May could have maybe, I'm not saying locked up the MVP, but certainly I think Stafford probably will win it, but he would have been maybe a co-favorite to win it if he had led the team.
There's still some big games.
There are, but if Drake May comes back and leads them down to a final minute drive and beats the Bills, I think he would have been the favorite. But speaking of that, with New England playing the Ravens on Sunday night in Baltimore, and of course Pittsburgh is playing the Lions in Detroit. I mean, these are huge games. Obviously not division games, but your thoughts on Pittsburgh going to Detroit and then New England going to Baltimore, and of course the Steelers and Ravens battling for that division.
Well, I'm going to be in Detroit for Pittsburgh and Detroit. Both teams are 8-6. Detroit has fallen way back. Like if they're going to make the playoffs, they have to beat Pittsburgh at home. They have not been good at home.
Right.
They've lost a lot of games at home.
But they don't lose back to back.
Well, they don't win back to back either.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
they haven't stacked 2 wins together since October 5th.
Mm-hmm.
They need their best, but Pittsburgh is playing. They have a formula. I mean, they think and dunk down the field. That's what they do. And Aaron, the last 2 weeks, has been very good. He's taking care of the football. He's making all the plays, and he's keeping the plays alive. They had a kid named Dylan Cook playing left tackle last week. Never played in the NFL before. He looked like an all-pro tackle last week. He didn't have a bad play, didn't have a penalty, and he's going to see a lot of hutch on Sunday. So we'll see. He looks good. Big kid out of Montana. Was a high school quarterback. We'll see if he can protect Aaron like he did last week. And if they do, and Pittsburgh wins, they're probably going to win the division. And the Ravens, they're playing to stay in the hunt because they play Pittsburgh the final week of the season in Pittsburgh.
Right.
So, but if Baltimore loses to New England, they're probably going to be out of it. So it's like both teams have their back. All 4 teams, 3 of the 4 teams, all have their backs to the wall for the playoffs. And so are you going to get the very best of Lamar and Derrick Henry against the Patriots? And are they going to run the ball against the Patriots the way Buffalo did last week? I think that's a pretty good formula to win. And then, Pittsburgh, defensively, they played better the last 2 weeks, but I don't think they're a great defense. And I don't think they have the answers to all 3 guys, whether it's Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or Jameson Williams. All 3 of those guys are very good offensive players. And if they get those guys going, I think it's going to be tough for Pittsburgh's defense to slow those guys down.
Baldy, how embarrassing was the Buccaneers' loss to the Falcons? That was embarrassment. And I'm pissed off because I needed the Buccaneers to win for a bet that I placed.
Yeah, I see that. I hear the tone.
Yeah, you can tell. I'm pissed off. I hope they lose to the Panthers this week.
Look, when Kyle Pitts came out of college out of Florida, and he, I knew the kid a little bit because he's from Philadelphia and I lived there, so I was kind of rooting for the guy, hometown kid, and he did nothing. His rookie year he was okay, then he got hurt, and he had 3 touchdown catches, in that game against Tampa, and they had no idea how to cover him. Mm-hmm. They tried zones, they tried man-to-man. Nobody man-to-man could cover him. And, we've never seen that guy ever have a game like that. You say, why? But that's what the Buccaneers' defense has been. And then, you listen to Todd Bowles just, have that press conference where he's just, roasting everybody over the coals, and it wasn't very flattering. Honestly, I like Todd Bowles, but you should say that to your team in the locker room.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need to say that in front of the whole world.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how pissed off he was.
Well, you know what we heard, Baldy?
No, I know. But we've never heard Todd Bowles ever say
Never.
No.
Like that. He kind of lost it. But we had heard, because Kyle Pitts, I'm with you. coming out of college, this guy's unbelievable. Yeah. And then he's kind of not really lived up to it by any stretch. And then I'm reading somewhere that there are there questions about work ethic, that kind of thing? Is he just kind of cruising? Is that what it is?
I don't know because I'm not, unless you're there watching.
It's hard to know.
I went out to Atlanta or to training camp this year, and I spent a whole day with the Falcons. And honestly, I watched 2 practices, and every ball went to Drake London. So I told people that play fantasy, just get Drake London. You're going to probably win your league. The guy's amazing, but he hadn't been playing, so somebody had to pick up the slack. So he's missed the last 3 weeks or something. So, I guess without him in the lineup, you got to throw the ball somewhere. Mm-hmm. Might as well throw it to another big, huge, fast target, and that's what Kyle Pitts was. So maybe that got him, practicing or paying attention or whatever, if that was the issue.
All right, Baldy, good stuff. Always love checking in with you. That's Brian Baldinger from Odyssey. Thanks, pal.
Have a great weekend, man.
Yeah, happy holidays to both of you guys. All right,
you too.
All right, thank you, pal.
That's Odyssey NFL Insider Brian Baldinger, host of the Best Football Show podcast. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. Coming up next, we'll continue to talk some NFL. As we do the Junkies Blitz, we'll play True or False here on the Junkies.